All right, the tackle room. I got pegboard on the wall, but I kind of run out of room, so I came up with an idea. I'm going to build a movable double-sided pegboard wall. That way I can create a wall inside a smaller tackle room. I'm going to show you how to do it. All right, so here's what you need. I've got 2 pieces of pegboard wall. Then I've got some OSB board that I'm going to use as a shelf underneath. And of course I got 2x4s. I got some 2x2s for the separation of those. And I want it to be movable, so got some casters. And of course we're going to need plenty of screws. All right, so here's our OSB board. This is what we're going to use for the base and the shelving. Now I want my Plano 3700 series boxes to be able to go on either side of it. So those are 14 inches. So I want 16-inch shelves, but I have to add in what the width of the pegboard wall, and I'm going to use a 2x2 in between them to give me that gap so the pegs fit in. So our total length that we're going to rip this board is 34 inches.
Let's build this thing, Dad.
All right, we ripped our OSB board the 34 inches, and now we're going to build the frame. We've got 2 standard 8-foot 2x4s, and then 4 center pieces down here, and these are 27 inches long. We're going to put the frame together. All right, so we've got our frame put together. We have our OSB board on top, and what I did on my the center cross beams is I measured from the outside edge 32 inches, and that'll be this outside edge of these cross beams. Did the same thing from that side, and that's what our 2x2s are going to secure to hold up our pegboard wall. I also took and I used a chalk line, so we measured in 16 inches from each edge. That's how big we wanted our shelves. We're left with about 2-inch gap. I snapped a chalk line down each, and then I can measure in the distance from each 2x4, and we're going to cut that out with a jigsaw. We finished jigsawing out the 2x2 holes down the center for our support boards. Now I went ahead and took the full length 34 inches and I cut 4 more 2x4s that added some support to the frame and to the 2x2s when we put them up. I use a 9/64 bit just to pre-drill those holes. I'm using 8 by 2.5-inch screws to secure those, but that'll prevent some splitting by using the drill bit. So let's keep building. Okay, so we cut 4 blocks. I cut them at 6 inches. So these are the blocks that my casters, my wheels are going to go into, and then I'll go ahead and attach those to the frame. I picked this stuff up at Lowe's. It's a 4-pack of casters. I mean, here's what the packaging looked like. They're casters, part number 1513. I mean, this is a little bit extra work only because these were meant to screw into something. So I'm able to take a 5/16 bit and drill that hole, and then I can actually screw these into the wood. It just takes a little bit of time. I think if you could find some casters, do a little searching for ones that are on a plate and they just have the 4 holes in the center, you could just put them on your frame or put them on these and drill some or put some screws in there. It'd be a lot quicker, but that's what I bought, so that's what I got to deal with. All right, we got our casters all mounted to the boards, put them in the 4 corners. I use my 9/64 bit again to pre-drill the holes so we don't split the wood, and just using 4 8 by 2.5-inch screws in each one to make sure they're secured on there. All right, so what I did, I had extra wood, and just so that we didn't only have 2 pieces of 2x4, that our 2x2 is going to be supporting the weight of the pegboard and all the baits on. I went ahead and added another 2x4, so I've got 3 of them here. And I did that all the way down, just secured that in there. Now what we want to do is, we know that our pegboard is 4 feet tall, so we know we're going to have 4 foot, at least 4 feet long on these, but then we need to figure out how much we need to drop down below so that we can secure it. So what I'm going to do, just to be on the safe side, is I'm going to add another measurement for another block so that we have that extra bit coming down here if we need to add the block for more support, because we've got plenty of room with our casters. Everything's going to roll fine even if we add one. So I'm going I'm going to add about 6.5 inches. So we're going to cut it about 54.5 inches is the length that we'll cut the 2x2s. That'll be secured in here, and then again, that's going to give us the room if we need to add additional support right there. All right, so here's a little trick for you. We know we need 54.5 inches for our 2x2s. I bought 8 footers, so that leaves me extra. But what that allows me to do is to inspect the ends. I mean, that's where the screws are going to go in, especially on the lower part, to support that wall. So if I have any splitting, you know, I can just cut that section off and then just remeasure. If you wanted to save a little bit of money, then you could buy 10 footers, and you can get your 2 54.5 inch pieces out of a 10 footer. Just make sure you inspect them at the hardware store, and make sure you don't have any splits or anything on there that might crack and just start putting screws in them. One of the things we're going to do prior to flipping this over and putting our 2x2s in is making sure that when we put our 2x2s in, that the wall is going to be level. It's not going to be crooked. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to take a level and go right at the edge of the holes on this side and this side. Make sure it lines up and draw a line. That's just going to give us a good guide when we have the 2x2s in there and we start screwing them down from the underside, that we know the wall is going to be level. All right, so we got our rolling base complete. Now we're going to put our 2x2 studs in. Well, and to do that, you got to put it on its side. And the easiest way to do that, I've just taken a piece of wood and I've screwed it to the side into this little block that I added right here. And then, of course, I screwed it to a piece of wood down here in my shop, so it's holding it nice and steady. And then I'm just using a table and something else to make sure that my studs are level with my marks down here. And then we'll go ahead and screw everything together. Okay, so now we got all our 2x2 studs in, and of course we have that our 1.5 inches extra just in case we need to put another piece of 2x4 to help support them, but they seem pretty good right now. And we use the 9/64 bit again just to pre-drill so we don't have any cracking, and we use the number 8 2.5 inch screws to put these on. So let's get it upright and get the pegboard on. All right, finished product. Put the 2 pieces of pegboard up here. I use number 8 1.25 inch screws to put those in, and it moves. It'll go wherever you need. It's a wall where you don't have a wall, and it's double-sided. 2 things for you. The hooks. Go online and just find a supply store and buy them in bulk. You know, I just bought like 200 of them and paid like $30-something. If you go to any of the big box stores, they're going to cost you anywhere from 50 cents to $1 a piece. And if you know you're going to stack stuff on your shelves, you want to give yourself a little bit more room and not lose that pegboard, you can have your studs a foot or 1.5 feet higher, and then move the pegboard up so that area is clear when you stack your stuff. So there it is. Mobile pegboard wall, double-sided, tackle room hack.